I know a lot of people want to know when the Joshua fight happened. This fight will happen. The big fight will happen. I promise you that.
So the first piece of the puzzle was solved with ease at the weekend.
Gentlemen, the time has come.
Deontay Wilder breezing through his Californian opponent, with the stoppage coming just 2 minutes into the bout.
Oh! Wilder hit Breazeale so hard, they are feeling it in Breazeale!
And whilst most expected the Bronze Bomber knockout, few expected it to come so early or so emphatically.
They say speed is power, but if you have power on top of speed, I don't know what to call my right hand anymore.
Now as the hype continues, the pressure switches across the pond to a man unlikely to be fazed by the demolition job, nor by the demands to step up to the plate. Considered to be the biggest draw in boxing, Anthony Joshua hopes to keep his momentum going. And with his first step into American territory comes the opportunity to make some noise of his own. After Jarrell Miller failed 3 separate drug tests last month, a proven and clever power puncher hopes to prove a more troublesome replacement. Andy Ruiz Jr., a game and ready opponent with the chance to become Mexico's first ever heavyweight champion.
Anthony, don't underestimate this little fat boy. I'm coming for you.
And a man who relishes the challenge of being the first man to beat the Brit. The 1st of June, Anthony Joshua's fight or flight debut on away soil. Will he be in for a rude awakening at Madison Square Garden, or another step closer to cementing his legacy in a packed-out heavyweight division? Here we take a closer look at Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz Jr. Welcome to a Motivedia presentation. Nothing catches the attention like a rivalry or clash of nations. And likewise, traveling over the pond and taking a title from your opponent's backyard is the cherry on top. Nigel Benn, Ricky Hatton, and Lennox Lewis, some of the most high-profile Brits to go out to America to win a world title. Footsteps that Anthony Joshua will be hoping to emulate, putting his name amongst some of the country's best ever. After the Miller drama, AJ struggled to find an opponent. Worse still, Ortiz turned down the fight, stating that he had been promised a Wilder rematch later this year, which left an opportunity for the Mexican to step in and collect a career-high payday.
For my enemies, here I come, boy. I'm coming for you.
However, now coming into the bout, Joshua admits he will have to be much smarter between the ropes. He looks to be improving every time out, building a resume that outshines any other in the division.
21 professional fights, 6 world championship fights. Does that not show you what route I'm going in?
And the opportunity to put away a name like Ruiz, where Joseph Parker couldn't, would be yet another big claim.
Is that for 5 or 6 rounds it's an absolute war, and then I believe Joshua will knock him out.
Rocks the head back, and then Joshua goes to work and puts him on the floor.
Looking comfortable training out in Miami, Joshua looks in impeccable shape, as usual.
Yeah, he's from a fighting background, Mexican. Look, it's a fight, isn't it? You know, these guys aren't going to come to lay down. They're not going to get in there and try and embarrass himself. So he's going to come game, and it's just my job to break him down round by round.
Though, as Eddie Hearn dropped 4 potential names to expect next, fans will be hoping the focus remains on June 1st. Fury, White, Pulev, and Usyk. None of which will matter, if Andy Ruiz pulls off the unthinkable.
I'm coming for you.
One thing for Ruiz, he certainly brings more than meets the eye. A big, fast, and accurate puncher with a good ring IQ and durability. Just one blemish on his professional record, which came as a decision loss to Joseph Parker back in 2016. A fight where he started out the aggressor before slowing in the mid-rounds. And whilst the final stats were surprisingly close, he was denied the decision on the night. Displaying a final 105-5 amateur record, it's clear that he's no pushover.
Oh man, Andy, he's a special fighter. He can crack, he can box, he's got speed. He's just a complete fighter. He can go to the body extremely well, and he can take a punch.
Now a professional for little over 10 years, the Mexican has had the opportunity of a lifetime.
Andy's a good fighter. He can fight, yes. He doesn't look the part, but the thing is, don't underestimate him though. If you take him lightly, he will upset you.
A chance to expand on his 32-1-0 resume, and to include the biggest name of them all.
Badass. Andy Ruiz is a great dude. Manny Robles, they deserve that fucking big fight. I would love to see that happen.
With life-changing money on the table, expect Ruiz to bring everything. And with those 3 belts dangling for the taking, don't be surprised if there are some early dramas come fight night. Just 5 miles down the road from where Wilder disposed of Breazeale, the two will walk out into one of boxing's most historic venues.
I'm big too. It doesn't really how big you are in this game, you know. So I'm a big fighter, combination fighter. So I'm here to win.
And whilst Ruiz has fought at world level before, fighting Joshua is a totally different occasion. Whether he can perform on the biggest stage of them all is another question.
This is how it's gonna be.
Side by side, the physiques are an accurate display of just how different the two fighters are. Despite being separated by just a month in age, the two 29-year-olds vary in almost every other way. Ruiz, who has identical height-to-reach ratio, comes in with a major disadvantage size-wise. Just 6'2", whilst being large for someone of Mexican descent, still puts him 4 inches short of the Brit. And with his short reach making him reliant on timing and accuracy, Joshua will be looking to pot-shot the Mexican to create openings. Ruiz Jr. has more out-and-out boxing experience, though is yet to break through at elite level, whereas Joshua has done more in less time and to a higher standard. The Mexican is durable, but just how durable once he feels the power and pressure of AJ is the real question. He brings a lower punch output than that of Jarrell Miller, but accurate and destructive shots.
But in my eyes, I felt Anthony Joshua had the bigger flaws than Tyson Fury, than Wilder. So this is the reason why I was calling him out.
You know what? I think that's a good fight. Andy has some heavy hands, so...
Great, now we're going to see a great fight. I think Andy Ruiz has a real shot, a puncher's shot. He's a great fighter, he can move.
If it goes the way I'm thinking it does, Andy Ruiz gets an early round stoppage because he's going to come out guns blazing. That's what he does, he's a bad man.
In theory, the Wilder and Joshua fights being so close together sets up the perfect narrative for a 2019 mega fight.
But when that time comes, we'll see what happens.
Though as we've seen over time, this is far from guaranteed. So whilst Eddie Hearn calls for no more excuses, the task at hand remains the priority.
Joshua's high. Joshua's in big trouble.
Brute force, shutout power, and the chance of a lifetime. Will we see AJ start edging his way into the list of greats? Or will we witness the crowning of the first ever Mexican heavyweight champ? Joshua versus Ruiz Jr.